Hi, welcome to Team Wool Sheep Reviews. Precision tools. You'll probably see in a lot of workshops is that people have things like this. But a lot of these things are used for actually measurements. You imagine you have a steel ruler. You want to measure something, so you'll use millimeters. So you got a very fine measurement and you'll actually measure so you wanted to measure the shaft size. So you could offer it up and you could sort of say, well, I would have said that's about 7 mil, but is it? So they've developed these instruments, and there's lots of variations of calipers and things, and you can set them, you can measure the gap, and these type of tools, once you've got the gap, you can lock it and then you can check everything. So if I wanted to measure the size of that, for example, I could use this to measure it. And then they got real precision stuff, like this is Mitutoyo, made in Japan. So this is probably very expensive, but you can see the detail. It is quite detailed, so you could get absolute accuracy to, you know, finer than millimeters with something like this. You can measure the inside diameter there, the outside diameter there. These have got their uses. So this is, like I said, this was my dad's and I've kept it. But you gotta have some good eyes, and I haven't got the best eyes. So they have got electronic versions. So if I wanted to know the measurement of this shaft, I would then put this on there, close it in, look at the reading, and it's 7.9 millimeters. You may need an even bigger one. So this is a bigger set. So the bigger diameter, the bigger the tool. As you can see, there's lots of options and sets of tools, but these can add up to a lot of money. I priced some of the Mitutoyo precision instruments, professional grade, and they were hundreds of pounds. I kid you not, hundreds of pounds. Then you can go on Amazon and you can pick up something like this, or the local Lidl stall, and these are anything 15-20 pounds. 7.9 mil. So I know then 8 mil shaft. As you can see, it's basic controls. There's 3 buttons. There's an on-off button, but with this one I notice if you start to move it, it comes on. So what you do before you start use it, close it all the way, 0, and then you can start measuring. You can convert the scale from inch to millimeters. There's 2 options. There's measuring the gap or the inside of a hole. So if you wanted to measure, for example, this, and you wanted to measure that, whereas the outside diameter, you would use the other side. So 50, 48. So that's measuring between the outer edges, and that's the inner edges. There's a roller on this one to help you wheel it around for a bit more. You can wheel it for more accuracy. And if you measure something and want to lock it, this is a little grub screw where you can, if you set the measurement, and that's it now, so it'll stay there because it's locked in. That is basically a Callipers. This one was about 15-20 pounds. Once you're finished, turn it off, put it back in the box. This is my Mitutoyo. As you can see, I got a battery connection issue here. And this is one of the things, every time I clean the batteries it starts playing up. But the batteries, like most of them, are a little button cell. My brush contact cleaner, I showed you in the soldering video. This is a handy tool. They're fibre brushes, but absolutely perfect for cleaning. So cleaning the contacts there. So all these little glass fibre bristles. We'll polish that up lovely. Clean the terminals. Try not to touch where you cleaned. Drop it into position. Live to fight another day. If you haven't got one of these, I suggest you get them. And basically you turn it to extend the bristles, and as you can see there's the bristles. That's a set of bristles. You can get replacement bristles as well. So it's almost like a fat felt pen but with no ink in it. And they're actually fiberglass. Contact cleaner. Perfect. When you're finished, knock it off. Ideal for measuring shaft sizes. If you wanted to measure a hole, sometimes, for example, you may have a rod and you need to drill a hole. That's a real tight fit for this rod. So how would you do that? This rod is 2mm, so I know this is 2mm. So I then might need to get a drill bit. So I get the drill bit, and then I would check the drill bit in the caliper, and I think this is perfect. This is a 2mm. What you don't want to do is get this drill bit and you're thinking that looks about right, and it's actually 3.15mm. So then the hole is too slack. So you can be a little bit more accurate. You might want to order something and you're thinking, I need to know the length of that screw. So use your calipers. Length of screw 32, 30, 32.9, 33 mil. That's a 33 mil screw. What is the thread size? Well, let's measure it with a caliper. 4 mil. Calipers. How do we manage? Calipers, boys. You've got a motor and you need to know the thickness of the shaft. Very, very thin. Get it in there. And this is a 3.99 4mm shaft. How do I know for sure? Because I measured it with my calipers. I've got a propeller. There's a hole in the center. How big is that hole? The hole in the center of the propeller is 10mm. How do I know for sure? Because I measured it with my calipers. But 10mm is too big. I needed 8mm. Maybe this one. 8mm. How do I know for sure this is 8mm? Because I measured it with my calipers. I bent the motor shaft. I needed a replacement. I've got this one, but what size is it? 3mm. Not big enough, John. Because I measured it with my calipers. I got this prop spinner and it's got a shaft adapter. But what size shaft is that? 3mm. I measured it with my caliper. Because I measured it with my calipers. So I think you get the message. Very handy to have in the workshop. You're going to need it. Not only that, it's quite a cool instrument really, isn't it? If you haven't got one, then how would you measure the thickness of a drill bit, or how would you measure the thickness of a shaft? So get yourself a set of calipers. Get a tidy one. I mean, there's plenty out there. I'll put a link below to the one I've got there. It seems to be okay, and accuracy for what we are doing is perfect. Lots of instruments for lots of uses. So go buy yourself a caliper. Do yourself a favour. See you soon. So keep safe and see you soon very shortly. Thank you for watching Team Woolly Sheep Reviews. Bye.